So in a little bit we're gonna go on a tour of the Vilna Ghetto, which I think for me will be more meaningful than anything else we're doing. Quite a boring voice today. The ghetto was interesting for a lot of reasons to me, not just the suffering, but more interesting the amount of culture that was there. All the songs and poems that were written there during the war that I grew up hearing, especially Hirsch Glick stuff, Zugni Keinmul, Abraham Sutzkever, and other stuff. Also, growing up, knew people who were interred there later survived, and most of their family didn't. So it'd be very meaningful. It's also, as far as Vilna, the last place that Yiddish culture really thrived within the ghetto walls. They, for example, the library, one of the main libraries in the city, just happened to be there. And to keep up morale, they encouraged book lending. And when the 100,000th book was taken out of the library in the ghetto, they threw a big party and gave an award. And with people literally starving to death, they ran schools and ran cultural organizations and magazines. And when things really started going to hell, people began to fight back, like the librarian of the center, who is going to be giving the tour today. The paper I took a picture of earlier was a issue of a Yiddish paper from New York. Actually, for a Yiddish paper, it's big. It has a circulation of about 10,000. The last 2 weeks, they've done issues on illness and the Yiddish Institute and the last article was from 2 weeks ago, was entirely on the librarian. Basic background is she lived in the ghetto for a year and a half, escaped to the woods and became a partisan. After retiring from a public service job, she became the librarian at Vilnius Yiddish Institute. And because and recently the government has been looking into the wartime actions and supposed atrocities of Jewish partisans, while not looking at any of the Lithuanian partisans who murdered thousands of Jews, and she's being investigated. So there's been a lot of coverage in the international press and in the Yiddish press about that. The article is mainly about her life. The next article, also on the front page, was about just Vilnius in general, the Jewish community here, the recent Nazi rallies, the Yiddish Institute, and of course the librarian too as well. So that'll be the tour, and I hope the battery won't die on me.